Well, of course, the first thing a historian would do would be search for historical precedents to the zombie apocalypse. One could go back to the barbarian invasions in ancient Rome. One could go back to the Neo-Assyrian Empire, which was in many ways a zombie apocalypse since it was a revival of the ancient Assyrian Empire. And talk about how people had dealt with these kinds of things. I think the historian could also potentially lend some insight as to, what the zombie's own historical mentality might be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when zombies become zombies, do they lose a sense of sort of historical orientation? Do they have a personal history? So do they have an identity? One of the things I lecture to my students about is how, a group, in order to be successful, has to have a sort of a shared identity, and that shared identity is often based on history. So what the historian would do would try to figure out, what is the zombie's sense of their own history? Do they have a sense of their own history? And if they don't, then maybe the historian could be dispatched to, either understand, how the zombies consider their own role in the historical in a historical narrative. If there would be a way of harnessing the zombie's own sense of history and using that against them, that could be a potentially, lethal weapon. There's always a role for the historian. Yeah, there's always a role for the historian.
I think we are, in fact, well equipped by the vast numbers of 13-year-olds whose thumb dexterity from working their Sony PlayStations is perfectly suited to defeating any zombie threat that you can dream up.